You know what I find interesting in this world? You got people right now, they wear suits and ties. They dress more professional than I do. People that get all the views on YouTube are not going to go shirtless like Pacific. Okay. How to dress for success? I don't follow it. Content is more important than packaging. The United States is the leader of the free world of packaging, exteriorism, a word I just slanguaged. When somebody doesn't agree with Pacific, I'm called a hick, a tard. I had a white, ugly girl with fake blonde streaks in her hair, glasses, chubby face, jump on me. There was a site called Classical Sarcasm showing classical old paintings where people dubbed in cartoon bubbles of what that person might be saying. Some of them are funny. One of them said something about I'm hot, I don't want my bra, I don't want no men. And a guy from a Middle Eastern country actually put, or women. And I put, that's right, Masi. That's right. I said, they always attack us men, but watch what happens. Within minutes, I got attacked by what I have showcased on this channel as the unquality Caucasian females. And there's a bonus in this video. I'm going to finally state something that's going to shock people. I hope that Black women are listening in because I'm going to give you a compliment, okay? Caucasian women in the U.S., she accosted me because when I was speaking to Masi, not her, she jumps out of her lane, butts into mine, you know, an ocean liner coming through a narrow area, and she takes her little Lund motorboat and cuts across the bow and expects me to stop on that one. It's like, smash, Pacific Ocean superliner, see ya. We've talked about American women. They think by saying, fuck you. They think by talking tough. They're so full of authority. This is not a woman who would come here to Georgia and get up in my face. If she did, on my property, I'd flatten her. That's it. Women in this country, most of them have become monsters. Feminism has destroyed Western women. Their primary goal in life is to be rude and snub us males, to beat us to the next traffic light, to do rude things, to say rude things, to get up in our face, to cuss, because after all, they're entitled. She said, if the picture wasn't about blah, 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 and if it, go post something, somebody will criticize it. And I said, lady, stay in your own lane. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to Masi, not you. Go back up. Go find somebody else to play with. She wrote this big, long thing with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, fuck you. 2, you're not my boss. You're not my boss either. You commented on the post, dum-dum. You jumped into my lane. I was talking to a man. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. American Western women are not correctable. They do not have a backup gear. I saw this when I drove buses and trucks. You pull up to an intersection. You go turn right. There's nobody there. A woman in a Subaru and an SUV roars up. She sees you making the turn. She sees you encroaching onto her lane. She wasn't there when you started the turn. But she's going to go up and block you. Of course, I have to stop. And she's going to sit there and glare at me and go, And I go, no, you need to back up. I was already into my turn, lady. Women in feminist camps, in American camps, are on a power trip. They think by telling me, fuck you, talking tough. Women want equal rights, I'll give it to them. A woman hits me, bam, straight for the face. I'll drop her butt equally as I would a guy trying to attack me. I don't believe in chivalry towards women like that. You get up into my lane, you affect me, you touch me, you come onto my property, I'll drop your ASS like I would a man. Your threat, your danger. Women are no longer ladies in this country. And the internet is full of trolls, and they come in the form of Democrats, they come in the form of feminist women, they come in the form of atheists, and they come in the form of pro-Darwinian BS believing, buying into college spoon-fed toxic crap. Darwin said in later years, the fossil record was against him. All we need to do is go to museums, go on fossil digs. You don't see half and halves. You see a complete skeletal remains of a Triceratops, T-Rex, Stegosaurus, a nautilus, ferns, dragonflies. We heard all the lies about Cro-Magnon man, Peking man, meltdown man, meltdown, piltdown man. A guy did a book, went to top museums that had these skulls, and found that teeth had been ground down, that there'd been tampering of the skulls to make them look Mongoloidian. Pseudoscientists, and I call it that because it is not science. Science does not disagree with what Pacific believes. True science disagrees with what evolutionists and atheists believe, and they hide behind the word science. Somebody like me make a comment, they go and look at my picture, and American men, being the dickheads that they are, will come back and go, look at your looks. Where's your facts, idiot? You can tell a group of people are wrong when all they do is come back and attack your looks, make an assumption you have no collars, make an assumption, call you a hick, keyboard warriors. And I've had a problem all my life with American men. I was bullied by them at school. I didn't do anything to them. You just had a-hole white boy kids. And this is a real dynamic. This still goes on. The short haircut spacky that drives his Toyota Sequoia. There's a bright guy. Let's buy a truck named after a tree. A tree. I saw it when I drove a bus. I saw it when I was on the roads. Denver, Colorado. Some of the slimiest, yuckiest, rudest people I met in a big city. Big cities suck anyway. Doesn't matter where you go. So fair's fair. SUVs are driven by assholees. That is a verifiable fact. There's a channel out there where a guy said that. He didn't use my phraseology. But these are people that vote Democrat. These are people that think that, you know, they're full of ego and whatever, and they're going to save the universe, but they buy these gas-guzzling dumb things, don't know how to drive them, don't know how to signal, don't know how to use proper following distance or be respectful to other vehicles on the road. These are usually driven by grown yupster men or Democrat men that earn big fat money. These rich fat cats that got these things have never ran a push mower or lifted a hammer or a saw in all their life. And now they think they're tough with their hand draped over their wheel or their hoopty, cutting everybody off with their little silly girlfriend or wife next to them. I remember years ago, I had a busload of students. The right lane was gone. Or it was not even a lane, it was a turnoff into the businesses. Traffic was backed up due to ice and stuff, and some spacky got in the right lane, get up in there where the curve's about to end, and literally just cuts in front of my bus. No blinker, nothing. I honked the horn, and out comes little white boy, skinny little finger. And I wish I could just supernaturally reach in there, take his hand, and break it back and throw it into traffic and say, do that again, I'll get the rest of them. And his ding dong girl gets out with her phone. I'm reporting you. I say, good job. I'll call on you too. Okay. Grab the two-way radio. Her hand went in, windows went up, and they didn't look in the rear of their mirrors anymore. It's amazing to me. And I've said this before in American culture. A lot of American men are assholes. A lot. And by American men, I would define most of them as being Caucasian. Smart ass, thinking that they're all that, thinking they can, conquer everybody, making comments, thinking that they're tough, assuming that they're macho. The wussies that go to the gym because they sit in an air-conditioned office all day like this, making big money, looking down at everybody. I've noticed something about the Democrats. I've noticed something about the atheists. I've noticed something about the feminist women online. They are nasty trolls. A lot of these cats don't have a picture on their Facebook. They got robots with blood all over their face and beastly pictures or a dog. And they make their rude, tough acting, inflammatory comments where you just want to reach through there and go, and you can't. They feel brave behind their keyboard. Most of these boys are probably overweight. Support Joe Biden. The biggest exercise they get all day is going from the internet to the toilet bowl or the fridge. Snipey, snarky, not factual comments, but things where they think they're airtight. They had a geology site. The Earth is 4.6 billion years old, blah, 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 blah. And all I did was put 100% false. Here come all the men and women, Darwinian atheistic trolls. Ha, ha, ha. You need to prove it. You need to show a link of what you believe. I said, no, I don't. You need to prove that what you're saying up there is true. Not one of them did it. Not one of them did it. Then they resorted, I think you're a hick. I think you're this. I said, well, come on down and meet me, and you can tell me if you think I'm a hick. You just run your mouth on the internet. You don't know who I am, and I don't know who you are. But I disagreed with something. Now you want to get into a character attack. One guy made a comment, said, oh, the fact you don't have to prove anything proves that you've never read anything. Yeah, I got several bookshelves in here full of books. Some is fiction, some is reference. It is ludicrous. The devil has been successful in this country to get people to believe because they went to college, vacuumed up some regurgitated Marxist, Darwinian, secularistic, atheistic based, faith based religion, because it takes more faith to believe that we all came from some primordial slime. A cell just came out of nowhere, walked up on the beach from a tadpole, and turned into this. And if you notice those that believe in evolution, they have no manners. They are rude. They are nasty to anybody that disagrees with them. Nasty. No facts. Just name calling. Tough talking. You better shut the F up. Shut up. I wrote a comment. It wasn't to you, and now you want to attack me. I'm amazed at how ballsy a category of men and women in America that are totally 100% wrong in everything that they believe about the origins of life, God or don't believe in God, and they're full of all the confidence and arrogance that you can throw at them. Why is that? The devil's a mocker. The devil mocks. and his followers are the same. And I put Democrats, atheists, Darwinianists, and feminists all in the same camp. They all belong there. They all are touting the same satanic party line. Evolution is not science, number one. It is not a fact, cannot be proved by science, and they constantly say it is. A circular argumentation. They bring in stuff like quantum physics. They bring in isotopic radiation dating, which has been proven wrong again and again and again, and it works off of presuppositions, assumptions. When we're dealing with facts, we don't deal with assumptions. The old saying, assume is to make an ass out of you and me. When you're dealing with facts in a courtroom, you cannot use I assume. You have to say on this date, this happened. Here's some pictures, here's some eyewitness statements, and here's some audio recording. Those are what you call evidence. And you don't have evidence. There's a fish that starts off male and turns female. And some cat got on the internet the other day and said, see, even in nature, animals tend to be bisexual. So why are humans condemning it? Atheism exists for one reason. Okay. Puny man cannot get his arms around the idea that there's a single solitary God who brought all this into existence. Number one. Number two, atheism exists because, as some of the old atheists that got converted to Christianity stated, they had a hard time reconciling all the suffering in the world if there was a loving God. Okay. Number three, atheists exist because some of these guys like their sin, and instead of just admitting it, if they can explain away the lawgiver, then there is no law. But watch the sleight of hand of atheists. Watch how they intellectually spin the hell out of this one. There are no absolutes according to evolutionists. But talk to an evolutionist, evolution is absolute. So contradiction, boom, hypocrisy, moving on. Next. Christians are fools. They believe in a faith-based system. Faith is a crutch. We believe in reality and science. You have no proof. They still cannot and will not answer the question. When I was in the 80s, Rubik's Cube came out, and I loved the thing. I couldn't solve but two sides of it. But it was colorful, and it was a trinket, and I have a little bit of gypsy in me somewhere, I think, because I like trinkets and flashy, shiny things, and I've just always been that way. I don't follow the corporate mantra. I don't follow the typical American geek or, machismo male that wants to roll coal and, rev his engine and think, oh, I'm a badass. And people go, man, that's hurting my ears. Shut the hell up. Pacific Ocean swims against the current in a sea of everything coming against me. When you stand up and you drop a comment on a liberal pseudoscience group, here come all the piranhas. Oh, here's another idiot believes in flat earth. I didn't say a word about flat earth, and I don't believe in that. Galileo said the earth was round. The Catholic Church disputed that. I'm not a Catholic, and the Catholic Church is not a Christian institution, so boom, booyah. But science has become its own humanistic religion. I've had this discussion with atheist after atheist after atheist. I said, you came in and sat down on that chair over there. Yeah. Did you, when you came into the room, did you pick it up and look at it, check the legs, make sure they were attached, that the bolts were secure, and make sure that thing was going to hold you up? They look at me, what the hell are you talking about, Pacific? No, I didn't. So you exercised faith. You sat down and rested in the chair. Oh, come on. No, I made a point, and you won't admit it. You don't have scientific proof. You have manufactured BS data. Brainwash. The atheists love to say, look at all the death and destruction in the name of religion. Look at all the hate by atheists towards me or you that don't believe in their hoo ha. Look at their rude comments on the internet. Agree to disagree? Not those clowns. You get an American woman who's gone to college and gets a 4-year degree and watch her ego go from here 0 to 60 in 0.001 of a second. My mind is learning all the time. I watch YouTube documentaries. I've single-handedly been working on my house myself. Most of these buttholes on the internet cannot even do their own home improvement. And they want to sit there and say, so what's your educational experience? I don't know. I can't graph that. I lived in Hong Kong. I have lived all over the country, and most people say you're very intellectual and you're very smart. But unless you have a toilet paper degree from college, usually called a BS, which stands for bullshit, they're going to discredit you because you don't have college. Then they go step 2. Oh, you're saying you're smarter than all the scientists. I never said I was smarter than all the scientists, but you're not leaning on scientists. You're leaning on pseudoscientists, atheists, pigeonholed in the colleges as professors, deriding any Christian that sits up in the classroom and says, Professor, I disagree with this, and he'll get a fail. Universities are not places of education anymore. They're places of indoctrination. And if you don't believe me, watch the way all these idiots with a college degree drive. Do they drive any better than a redneck? Do they drive any better than a gangbanger or a drug dealer? Hell no. And I've told people this. You can fool people of who you are until they see how you drive your car. So you got a college degree and you think you can debate. You're not debating when I've just showed you you're wrong. You won't admit it. So now you're going to call me names. Oh, you look like a retard with your thick glasses, a hick, and long hair. This is what education produces. Assholes. Smart ass snarky comments. I'm still waiting for the overflowing mountainous balls of evidence. But look at Hawking. Clowns are us. The God Delusion. I looked at his book. I did not take the time to read it. I skimmed through it. And I skimmed because I found nothing by glancing through there that even showed he had no argument anywhere, not in a chapter, to prove that God doesn't exist. Hawkins is just a smartass hiding behind science. There's no science in his book. None. Evolutionists are not nice people. They're rude. And if their belief is so right and they're so freed with the truth, why do they attack? Why they call me names? The Bible says you shall know the truth and the truth shall set you free, but yet they don't act like they're free. They act like a bully tyrant, harassing. It's funny, when I believe the truth, I have the confidence. I don't need to back up what I say. The atheist and the evolutionist needs to prove to us that there is no God. They need to prove to us that the earth is 4.6 billion years old. How do they get 4.6? They do that with everything. Oh, they found a fossilized whale. It's got to be at least 150 million years old. Okay. Affixing dates, just throwing darts at a dartboard, hoping it sticks. Radiocarbon-14 dating is a joke. Assumptions on half-life. Now I'm going to say it again. Half-life of what? Listen to this guy. He doesn't even know what half-life is. You created a lie that's called sleight of hand and smoke and mirrors. The magician's up there spinning his hands around so fast, then the rabbit comes out of nowhere. And that's what these clowns do. The dating process is a fallacy. It is based on purely presumption and assumptions. What is the half-life of radiation? How do we know it's the half-life? How do we know this? They don't. The Bible is very clear. In Corinthians, it says, the natural man comprehendeth not the things of God. Some guy yesterday said, I'm not going to believe in a 2,000-year-old book. I said, no, you'll believe in books that are younger than a 2,000-year-old book and take it as gospel, even though there's not one shred of scientific evidence to back up what they say. Oh, well, you're going to psychoanalyze me and you don't even know me. Well, let's see if you can interpret this. STFU. I wrote back and I said, no, I'm not going to shut the F up. And you're the one that made a rude comment to me, and I wasn't talking to you, pinhead. No picture, all pro-Democrat stuff, all complete hatred of anybody who thinks different than him. Now, I don't like the Democrats and what they're doing to this country, but I don't walk around with hate. Now, I'm getting to the point now when I see the evil that is coming out of people, I don't have love for them. I don't like what Joe Biden's doing. The guy needs to be removed, as do most of the Democrats. But the universities are a tool of the left. They've been staffed with atheists. They've been staffed with Democrats. And if Democrats and atheists who want to talk about science, that'll look at the scientific fact of the complete discrimination of the media in the US. They gang up on one, Fox News, when all the others, MSNBC, PBS, NPR, CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, whatever, they're all exactly the same. Left-leaning slant. Lying, manipulating, twisting, spinning. And scientific fact. You want to teach in any university in this country, you cannot be a Republican. You cannot be a conservative. You most likely cannot be a Christian. I'm not talking a Christian you. I'm talking the regular, accredited, secular universities. They're all schooled after what you'll find in Europe, Beijing. Get everybody to submit to the one same body of quasi-knowledge. That's why if I was a U student, I could be accepted to go to U in Beijing because it's brainwash. Socialism is promoted in a college environment, not democracy, not a republic, not independent thought. Our corporate world is not about spontaneity at all. It's about total control. This isn't an opinion. This is a fact. And the atheist world thinks they're airtight in their lame, science-less arguments. And all science has become as a religion and a habitation for atheists to push their, I don't believe in God, on the world. The Bible says, better a millstone be hung around the neck of somebody who causes one of these little ones to stumble or teaches. Teachers, you complain you don't get enough pay. Well, let me tell you something. If you're teaching kids that there is no God, you got to face the Lord about that. I don't even believe in the Lord. Listen to this idiot. We don't need no education. We don't need no thoughts control. Teacher, leave those kids alone. Funny, they listen to that. Do they know what it means? I believe in education. I believe 100% in education. But if you want to look at scientific data and fact, they're staffed by Democrats. They're staffed by atheists. If you don't believe in evolution, if you don't believe in the Democrat ideals, you will not get a job teaching in those bastions. Got discrimination? What happened to the U.S. and EOE, Equal Opportunity Employer? It's not going to happen. Remember AOC and her dumb statement? Anybody that voted for Trump, there should be a list and they should be denied employment. That's your atheist. That's your so-called scientist. That's your Democrat Party. That's your feminist. AOC should be required by law to go back to bartending and stay away from politics. She has more substance in her tits than she does in her brain. But the hatred that comes from all these trolls that support all these lies They don't bring me fact. Oh, they'll post a link. I don't watch it. It's garbage. I've seen it all before. I used to believe like them until the old song, I saw the light. Atheists scoff at Christianity. They scoff at the Bible and they scoff at faith. But an atheist gets in his car, doesn't go underneath it to make sure the axles and everything are holding. The atheist goes in his house, when he opens that door, he doesn't think that the roof's going to come down on him. When he sits down in the chair, when the furnace comes on, he doesn't worry if the gas or something misses and is going to cause an explosion. No, that atheist uses faith all day long, and he has the gall to say that faith is ridiculous. Faith, everybody thinks it's a religious word. Faith is a rested assurance. Like if I sit on my futon across the room here, I don't get underneath there and look at the frame because I know it's going to hold me up. One, I'm the one that assembled it when I bought it. Atheists put their faith in so-called Darwin. The HMS Beagle, it proved nothing to prove there was no God. Darwin's own wife was a member of the Church of England. Don't know if she had saving faith or not, but she did not like her husband's ideas, did not agree with him. Charles Darwin had a problem. If there was a God, why is there all this suffering? Well, let me ask atheists the same question. If there is no God and you're right, why is it you have Hitler and Lenin and Stalin? Why is it that the atheist community wasn't charged with racism? They should be, because they believe in Darwin's little black box, origin of species, where they say that blacks are inferior. See, that's why atheists aren't nice. They're racist. They're ignorant. They don't stand on science. This is the mantra that was used by Hitler for ethnic cleansing of the Jews. Stalin, Lenin, the CCP of China, North Korea. They don't believe in God. Those are dangerous, dangerous leaders. And please notice something. When they love to quote Karl Marx, religion is the opiate of the people. Yep, that's true. So is atheism. It's the opiate of clowns. And it's funny how they want to differentiate themselves out of that. It takes more faith to believe that a single cell organism, which by the way, you cannot take a single cell organism and throw it on the cement and expect it to flourish. It's going to die. But this thing somehow, through time and chance and happenstance and randomness, became a tadpole. And somehow that one tadpole walked up on a beach. And somehow that tadpole turned into something else. And if you really think about it, that single cell, according to atheists, is still alive because it just kept morphing. It is ridiculous. For me to believe that my house just created itself, the atheist would mock that. And the house is not that intricate. The human body, the nature, the natural world, the alignment of the setting of the planets. You can't have something big bang and explode where you have seasons and the earth is just the right distance. All these clowns saying, oh, there's evidence of life on Mars. No, there isn't. Spending billions of dollars with NASA when our country is going down the toilet by Democrat leadership is nothing more than fool's sport. Spending billions of dollars to look at getting to Mars. There's no point in it. None. Let the rich pay for it, not the taxpayers. If atheists are unable to look at the fact that humans only exist right here, we have water, we have a atmosphere, we have proof all over the world there was a global flood with fossil deposits and seashells loaded in every mountains, including the Himalayas, and they say dumb things. Well, where'd all the water go? Well, Everest wasn't there when the flood first took place, partner. It's called tectonic plates. It's called hydraulic pressure. The Bible says the great springs of the deep burst forth, lubricating plates, big cracks, and the landmass broke apart, and now we have continents. Then you can look on a geographical relief map of a globe, and you can see the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, the Pacific Ridge. You can see ridges going all around the world in the middle of the oceans, like seams on a baseball. Interesting. But instead, dopey quasi-pseudoscientists like to point at little, stay-at-home moms caricatures of Sunday school pictures of Noah's Ark with a giant oversized elephant and two giraffes and Noah standing there. And the logical mind says, how in the hell did you get all those animals on that boat? Well, first of all, they weren't big like the Sunday school picture, and they weren't hokey like that. And the animals were young, babies. And they went into a form of hibernation once the ark was shut up. It's interesting that the ark did not need a helm, a rudder, a form of power, sails, an engine. It was simply designed to float and rise up with the flood. And God had that thing land exactly where he wanted, on the mountains of Ararat, otherwise known as the country of Turkey. And it is a fact that Noah was the father of many nations. Shem, Ham, and Japheth represented Caucasians, Asians, and black people. Ham representing what ended up going into Africa. But atheists laugh at all that. They're busy digging around for busted and deformed skulls, saying, oh, look. If you want proof we're not evolving, ask these dumb atheists this question. And I'm going to insult them. Professing to be wise, they became as fools. The foolishness of God is wiser than the wisdom of man. And the atheists hide behind their circular rhetoric, their college degrees, their arrogant, snarky scientists. Well, Pacific wants to talk all he wants, but he's not a scientist and he didn't go to college. I think we need to know what we can do with that. I've seen fossils. Scientists have a real hard time with this. Pseudoscientists. Dinosaur footprints found in Texas right next to man's in the same rock strata, rock layers. Why in the hell is that? Oh, but man and dinos were around at the same time. That's a lie. The Bible says that God created the earth in 6 days. Yeah, they were. Well, the Bible doesn't talk about dinosaurs. Yeah, it does. Go in the book of Job and talk about Leviathan, Behemoth. Read the description of it if you can even understand the Bible, which you can't. You claim to be so wise. You say the Bible's a fairy tale. No, evolution is a fairy tale. It's an excuse to brainwash kids. And if you've noticed anything in America, the kids are coming off the chain on a nationwide level. That humans are addicted to their cell phones and social media, and they're no longer interacting in a positive way with each other. They're being rude on the internet. And the second law of thermodynamics stands in stark testimony against any atheist who believes in evolution. Shall we get somebody to define it for you? Because I don't think the atheists are as smart as they want us to believe. Hey, Siri, what is the second law of thermodynamics?
The second law of thermodynamics is a physical law based on universal empirical observation concerning heat and energy interconversions. Do you want me to keep reading?
The second law of thermodynamics establishes the concept of entropy as a physical property of a thermodynamic system. The law of entropy is that everything is breaking down and wearing down and slowing down. Atheists don't talk about that when they believe in evolution. They claim survival of the fittest. Let me tell you something. Survival of the fittest is a moronic way to put things. And I'm going to make it very clear that history will prove that tyrants, megalomaniacs have all been chopped down, cut down, killed, wiped out. And God is the one who wins, not evolution believing clowns. Evolution is not scientific fact. It was stated as a theory when I was a kid. Today, the clown show on the left wants to sit there and go, ugh. It is not science. It was called a theory. The fossil record and the living record have no transitional life forms as smoking gun proof. They want to say a dolphin flipper and a man's hand are exactly the same. Dumb. Dumb. Just like a big mining dump truck has a steering axle, just like a pickup truck. Oh, maybe I got that wrong. The evolutionists will go and check those dump trucks and say, no, it doesn't. It's got a gearbox thing, whatever. The point is they got tires. It's a bigger version of a truck. Of course, they're going to have some similar components. Saying the chimpanzee looks so much like a human, but it's not a human. Keep trying again. Monkeys and humans are not on the same level. Oh, we're primates. No, we're not. That's some evolutionists came up with. Monkeys do not reason. Monkeys do not make moral judgments or moral decisions. In fact, they steal stuff. Go to India, set your purse down, or even if you got it loosely by you, watch the monkeys take off and run, and you will never see it again. We have a conscience that's been given to us by God. First or Second Peter says, talking about scoffers, talking about the time will come when people will say they deliberately forget that long ago the world was destroyed by a flood, and the same world is reserved by judgment by fire. The atheists are doing that. Oh, there was no global flood. Science shows there was a global flood. Atheists saying they believe in the scientists. When I was a kid, science taught there was a global flood. Now it doesn't. Now Robert Ballard and others say, oh, the Black Sea flooded, and that was the basis for Noah's Ark. No, it wasn't. Why would God have two of every kind of animal come into an ark? Shot holes in that theory, didn't it? And the thing is, you cannot argue with lost souls. People that believe in evolution, that belief denies the Genesis account. You either believe in the Bible or you believe in quasi-pseudoscience. And if you believe in quasi-pseudoscience, you don't stand on truth. You don't stand on scientific fact. You stand on an opinion that cannot be proven by data. And you can argue all day with these clowns. They'll call you names. They'll call you stupid. The Bible says the natural man does not comprehend the things of God. They are foolishness to him. When they look at the Bible, they think this is a joke. But they'll believe their science books. They'll believe Darwin stuff. They'll believe Hawking's God delusion. None of it based in fact. The Democrats, look at what they're doing. Joe Biden's saying to other Democrats, leave me alone, let me do my job. He is very much lately making comments. He wants to get into it with Putin. China is acting up right on the heels of the worst debate ever. And to the evolutionists, let me say something to y'all. You fail to see what the rest of us who don't have college degrees see. Claiming to see, you're blind. You can't see the trees through the forest. Biden is shipwrecking the nation, lying to people saying job growth. Yeah, to illegals. Government jobs. That's all smoke and mirrors, and it's basically a lie. Jobs to Americans who are citizens that are non-government, no, that's a fail. But Joe Biden has put this country in danger by people who don't value our lives. But Americans don't value lives. Feminists, feminazi women, women that tell me, fuck you, shut up, thinking they're so tough, have no conscience about murdering 61 million children. Is that not infanticide? Is that not genocide? It's amazing how Americans call a used car a certified pre-owned and an abortion is simply choice. Choice, huh? Except for the kid. Nice, cute. But if a man murders a pregnant woman, he's charged with 2 deaths. But the baby wasn't born yet, according to evolutionists and abortionists. Baby wasn't born yet. So why is a man charged with 2? Because the law recognizes that there were 2 human beings, except when it comes to abortion and the foolish, dark thinking of self-centered, spoiled American women that want to scream and yell about us men. Abortion has nothing to do with men. It has to do with God's laws. And you want to kill babies and condone and sanction that, you will be charged with murder one day by him. Yeah, you get away with it here. Your Supreme Court lets you do it. Why would anybody date or marry a woman who believes in killing a child that God formed within her? That's what it means in 2 Timothy 3. Without the last days, perilous times shall come. People will be without natural affection. It is a natural affection thing for a mother to feel a protective nurturedness towards her baby. And I don't support abortion. Abortion is not just one of those, well, we are going to agree to disagree. I think one of these people that killed their baby ought to be thrown into prison, treated just like Charles Manson or Green River Killer or anybody else. I don't see things the way this foolish country sees things. I think most American men are dicks. They're rude. They think they're tough. They think they can beat up everybody. They don't like people like me because I don't walk according to their ways. I don't follow the corporate bullshit. I'm amazed at how stupid most Americans are. They get all caught up in this plastic lined with tin SUV with heated seats and, for pussies, comfort toys, heated seats and motorized mirrors that fold in and all your little gay things. Give me a truck. Give me a deuce and a half, solid steel, no comfort, bounces up and down. Thank you. But we got a world of quasi tough guys hiding behind their leather lined hoopty that they've spent too much money for. Biden has got us into trouble. China's flexing its muscle, seized a Taiwan fishing vessel in the Straits of Taiwan. How did they get away with that? Arrested the crew. The Philippines also has been punked on in the Spratly Islands. Those are nowhere near China. Philippines claims it's theirs. China claims it belongs to them. And China's over there pissing over some tiny little islands far from their country and waving the arm and hammer mentality. And the Philippines, they roughed up and shot some Filipinos, and the Philippines says, we're going to deal with this. I don't know what they're going to do against China. China's a bully because they're led by CCP people who are atheists, who don't believe in God, who don't believe in a book of absolutes. And you listen to these clown atheists in the US that run their mouth and call me names. These aren't tough guys. These are buttholes. They got a teeny bit of so-called knowledge and, everybody's dumb but me. You believe there's no God. The Bible talks about you. The fool has said in his heart, there's no. It doesn't matter whether you believe in this or not. Days coming, you're going to stand before him. And those of you that heard the words out of my mouth, you'll remember this face and these words for all eternity. Because anybody who tried to tell you the truth, that's going to eat at you like a termite while you're suffering. Oh no, you were too arrogant. Heaven and hell is real. There's no shaking doubt in my mind about it. The CCP is a godless party. It oppresses the rights of the people because they don't believe there's a God who's going to hold them accountable for the way they've treated fellow man. You can talk about Christianity. Don't bring the Catholic Church into that. The Catholic Church is a cult. It's a false religion. I will never defend Catholicism. It ravaged Europe. True Christianity seeks to set people free, not control them. Notice I said true Christianity. You got a lot of churches. You got a lot of churches that are Christian by title, and you got people who want to control everybody. True Christianity sets people free to let God move in their lives. Atheists, they don't want free thinkers like me. They think evil, vile thoughts towards me. They want to punch me. They want to kill me. Sounds like the CCP. Sounds like Adolf Hitler. Sounds like Stalin and Lenin. What was Stalin and Lenin's problem? Why did they do that to Russia? Russia was controlled by czars. Why did Stalin and Lenin oppress and kill people, wipe out people? And to listen to atheists' gay and lame argument that, oh, look at all the wars in the name of religion. Look at all the bloodshed in the name of atheists. Clowns. Eat your pie. And Christians are scaredy cats. They will not stand up to these clowns. They've been bullied. They've been silenced. Milquetoast, mamby-pamby, wussy preachers that are simps towards women, never convict the women in their congregation of their awful attitudes, which, by the way, feminism is alive and well in the American evangelical church today. These same pastors will not equip their congregation to say, you got a problem with what the meaning of day is in Genesis? Today, I'm going to clear it up for you. In Genesis, it says there was evening and there was morning the first day, and it goes on and on. There was evening and morning the second day. And only clowns that are obtuse and abstract, well, day doesn't really mean day. So what is there is evening and morning the first day? What does that mean? Well, yeah, spin it around some more. Why are Christians sometimes the biggest enemy of biblical truth? Well, Pacific, it's about Jesus. We're not going to get caught up in sideline issues like day. Okay, honey bunch, there's one problem with your argument. If Genesis can be interpreted any number of ways, and you want to shake your hands with the evolutionists and reach across the aisle, if I can prove that Genesis is not true and day doesn't mean day as it's defined in Genesis, then the whole Bible falls. Where's your Jesus? Where's your God? So you're trying to play footsie with the evolutionists. Come out from them and be separate. I've been harassed and teased all my life, and I still hate it to this day. I've been abused by my mother. I've been abused by women. I've been abused by atheists and other verbal assault in this country just for stating my belief. These are the open-minded, tolerant ones, right? Now I laugh at flat earthers, but I don't call them, tards and stuff like that. I go, man, that's just foolishness. You can see the curvature of the earth when you're up on an airplane high up. Evolutionists like to make a lump assumption of a Christian. I struggle with my Christian faith every day. And atheists got this flannel graph look at Christianity. They don't know me. God's not done with me. He's still working in me. But struggle with what the Bible teaches about how the world was formed, that I don't. That's a settled case for me. There is no science out there that can disprove the Genesis account. None. How do I know God exists? In many ways, but one is by watching the growing escalation of evil. Atheists believe in evolution, right? They believe things are getting better and better. Putin wants to grab real estate. China wants to grab real estate. Taiwan. Israel's trying to defend itself against a terrorist nation, and the UN is defending Hamas. This is not rational, folks. If we're so-called getting better, why is Putin going after Ukraine? Why is the U.S. involved in that? Why is Biden shipping reserve oil to China? That is for us. But he refuses to let us drill. We got an oil reserve under a country where we can get off of anybody else's, and he will not let us do it. He is deliberately shipwrecking this country. And to all you atheists out there, you go ahead and mock. Your world is not a better place because of atheism. They'll kill you too. You're not going to be in the inner elite circle. You get some despot into power who's a rabid atheist and like the CCP, they'll kill you too. They have no use for you. True biblical Christianity teaches to live at peace with all men, not create war, not tear up people, not abort your children. And I'm not going to go on and on about this. Atheists like to argue round and round that I don't have one scientific thing I said today. Yes, I did. We're not going to go into quantum physics and all your crap. Quantum physics does not prove evolution. What are the chances of a tornado going through a junkyard and assembling all the pieces in the junkyard into a brand new 747 with fresh paint, fresh wiring, fresh carpeting, and everything ready for takeoff? Do the math on that, atheists. That's what you're saying happened with you and me and how all this came into existence. How you can take a tiny itty bitty seed and grow into a massive oak that I just had removed in the yard for a big whop of money. It was 4 feet around and towering, but it had rot in it. Atheists can't even create a seed that can do that. You're going to tell me that this stuff just happened by randomness. Foolish. Clearly there's a design. How come we have an atmosphere? And atheists, answer this. You guys are so stupid. Why is one of your ears not at the bottom of your foot? How come toes aren't coming out of your head? Why is there symmetry and design to the human body? How come my mouth isn't in my butthole? How come my penis isn't right here? I know people could have fun with that. Oh, it sounds like he's talking with a dick in his mouth. That's your atheistic community. They don't stand on science. They stand on hyperbole, rhetoric, and brainwash. Same old puke, swallowed up again and again, regurgitated onto children. And then you wonder why kids, girls today, teenage girls, so moody, take away their cell phone. They can't cope. Yeah, we're evolving, aren't we? Kids today are losing their minds. If evolution is true, we're not improving. We made technological advances, but it is not improvement when a society turns its back on God. History proves that every country that did, and they get worse and they plunge into the cesspool of narcissism and complete moral decay, they end up getting owned. We're headed there fast in the United States. Now I want to talk about something that will shock my viewers. There's going to be some qualifiers for this, but I've experienced a lot of women in my life. I've had a lot of females as friends. I've dated women from Asian, African American culture, Caucasian culture. And I've observed over the years, I've lived enough years, and not all American women are like this, but I am going to say that most of the white women in our culture are mentally ill. They just have something wrong with them. They're so rude to us men, unless you got big money or you're a thug. And I started to shift my opinion. I live in the deep, dirty Black South. And I say the Black South because where I'm at is 53% Black, 35% white. And my contact with white people is extremely minutia. I do not like the Democrat indoctrination of African Americans. That is dangerous to their race, and they don't get it. But I've noticed something as a man. I have a preference towards darker skin. I always have. Pasty white women don't do anything for me. But there's a difference between Black women compared to Caucasian. I can be honest with a Black woman more than I can be honest with a white woman. I can compliment a Black woman without her thinking I'm sexually harassing her. A lot of black women still cook and cook really good. A lot of black women love on their men. The problem with black culture is a lot of black women have been dumped and used by black men. And I would encourage black women to make a Blexit and start dating us. Get out of your race. There's some of us that treat you better than your homeboys would. That's a fact. And I'm going to be graphic in what I say. Some African American women have amazing breasts, pointy, thick nipples, nice big areolas, silky skin. They have more muscle tone than most white women do, even after they go to the gym. African women tend to have more dance within them. They know how to cut loose and have fun. White women are stiff, angry. Now, we got angry blacks. Don't kid yourself. I see them all day down here. And I tell people, if you want to find yourself a good wife, don't go to the Philippines. Start looking at Africa. Start looking at Zambia and Kenya. There's some pretty attractive women that have a job, have their homes, dress nice. They don't want to date the men in their culture. AIDS is epidemic in Africa. The men cheat over there and play. And I never thought I'd say this, but if I could find a beautiful black woman to date, I would do it. I would. No issues. As long as she doesn't hold to the Democrat belief system and the ghetto behavior that goes on with so many down here. Obesity, lack of hygiene, lack of proper decorum in public places, lack of proper financial management. And back to Darwinianists. Little Black Box was read by Hitler. It has been the engine behind despots. The CCP and Russia both are destroying churches, houses of worship. They're against faith, but yet they believe in a faith-based system, that there is no God. And they're oppressing people and trampling on them. True Christianity seeks to set people free with the truth, to feed them, to clothe them, to teach them how to live better. Atheism does not do that. You cannot argue with atheists. They're lost souls and they're clowns, and they hide behind fallacious argumentation, not reasoning, but argumentation. And they will grab you with that noose of their little itty bitty brainwashed knowledge and think they got you. Don't set your foot in that trap. Shake your head, walk off, and pray that God opens their eyes. Because if they don't have their eyes open, they can live in hell for all eternity with complete suffering, believing the foolishness that they believed. You're going to tell me that evolution is a fact. Why are my arms opposable thumbs? How come one hand isn't like this? How come one eye isn't right here? How come my mouth isn't right here instead of a nipple? They cannot answer that. The scientists have lied and lied and lied and lied. All the dinosaurs were wiped out by an asteroid. That means everything would have been wiped out. Morons. Giraffes, elephants, people. Dumb. Oh, wait, but there were ages. There's the Jurassic Age. You made that up. You made that up. So you're going to tell me the dinosaurs showed up billions of years ago, millions of years ago, and then they were wiped out, and then a long time came us. Faith, buddy. The atheists laugh at evangelical or Christian faith or biblical faith, but they believe that hoo-ha. They have no scientific evidence to back it up. Well, there's a crater in South America or Mexico. A crater, okay. Yellowstone was a super volcano. Do we know this? They tell us that. And they're sounding the alarm about it. Now all of a sudden they're worried about Rainier. Rainier's not doing a damn thing. The news media loves fear mongering, loves it. The media lies to us all day long. Spherical heating is our greatest crisis. No, Joe Biden is our greatest crisis right now in America. He's fixing to get us into a war with three major powers. And Putin, they're calling him mentally ill, but he isn't. He's smart. He's aligning himself with enemies of the U.S. He doesn't like North Korea or China, but guess what? Birds of a feather. They all sit there and go, you hate the U.S. too? You hate, let's join up. Russia and China together got ships out there off our allied nations' coast, like Japan, and China's messing with the Philippines again, messing with Taiwan. And we got an aircraft carrier steaming towards the Middle East with the Houthi rebels, which, by the way, Russia, Putin is befriending them. We know what Ezekiel 38 says is going to happen. Gog and Magog is an old name for what we call modern day Russia. They're going to advance on Israel at some point, with mostly Muslim nations with them. And God says, I'll turn back, but a sixth of these. He's going to destroy all of them except the sixth. Russia will not be an empire after he's done. Neither will the Muslim nations. It's funny how bold and bully atheists are. No one can make a comment without them pouncing like a bunch of wolves. There's a Christian here. Get him. These aren't free people. They're bound by the prisons of their mind and the foolishness that they've sucked up in a college or a classroom. When you breathe your last, get back to me, atheists, and tell me how that's working out for you when you hear this sound. For all eternity. Your worm dieth not. The fire's never quenched. And you live with an eternal awareness that you rejected God and you got what you deserve. And all the words that people tried to speak to you about the truth will haunt you and scream at you, and you can't shut them up. You put yourself there. Nobody wants to talk about hell today. The evangelical church has become a joke. Vacation Bible school, other things are nothing about cheap entertainment for children. We're not teaching Christians to be soldiers anymore. We're not saying, hey, we need to sit down and talk about this evolution because this stuff is all around you. We need to teach kids to shred it systematically. The late Dr. Rick Ferguson in Riverside Baptist Church in Colorado did an outstanding sermon series called Devolution. Ken Ham Answers in Genesis does an outstanding work in exposing the holes in the whole evolutionistic thing. And I don't ascribe to evolution. It's foolishness. And just so you know, if you think that Ken Ham and all these people are my friends, they're not. I met Ken Ham. His bedside manner sucked. But I stand for truth. I don't get along with most Christians because they're just like atheists. They get programmed into this funky thinking. And we're not changing our culture over here. We're not changing our world because Christians are worried about their comfort zone and their silly little Christian rock and, Jesus blessing them with all their little blessings and trinkets. We're not changing the world. We got too many silly Christians going, it doesn't matter about day. It doesn't matter about pre-trib or post. It doesn't matter. We're just about Jesus. Oh, yeah, some esoteric baloney. Let's go back to the 60s where we're sniffing pot and saying, People ignore that era. Hare Krishna, my sweet Lord. Oh, yeah. They were very active in evangelizing, weren't they? Munis, Hare Krishnas. And today's church today, they've run with their tail between their legs. And I get out here and I stand up, and you got dressed up Christian men in the pulpit refuting evolution, but you're not going to have somebody like me, and I'm called names. I'm not professional. I didn't go to college. I don't have any proof. I got a lot of proof. The Holy Spirit living within me has shown that it's crap. After I became a Christian, things became clear. And why are atheists so angry that people disagree? Why does it butthurt them so much that they have to argue and argue and argue with you? If they're so enlightened by the truth, you'd think they'd rest and just chuckle. No, they're like little wolves and piranhas, and they want to pounce and attack, and they want to win. Their ego. They want to get into an egotistical megalomaniac fight. They got to get that last word. Atheist, my God has the last word. I'll walk right out of an argument and say, you can have the last word. You still believe it's false. Bye. And you'll get 9,000 emojis and tinfoil hats thrown at me. It's fun, isn't it? You cannot win with a fool, so don't try. Make your comment and move on. To believe in evolution is completely contradictory to common sense. If evolution is true, you would not have design. 2 eyes, the nose in the center of the mouth, the ears, arms, legs. Come on. It takes more faith to believe in that crap than it does to believe in an intelligent designer called God, Yahweh, Jehovah, Elohim, Adonai, Emmanuel, and dozens of other names for him in Scripture. He did it. In Genesis 1:1, it says, in the beginning, God, and that word for God is Elohim, which denotes plurality. God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit, 3 in 1. They were all there, present in creation. He said, let there be. I was working on my house yesterday. I'm running CPVC. They had the pipes in the attic because the old galvanized hot water went out a long time ago. Galvanized metal starts clogging up like an artery. And they ran the hot water pipes up in the attic with no insulation. We got down to 12 or 11 degrees a couple of years ago. I had to go up a week before and get some, I call them pool noodles, but the insulation, the black insulation that goes around the pipes. Wow, they never insulated this stuff up here. Well, my water line, because I'm on a slab, went. It didn't go. I got a bill that jumped from 2,000 gallons to 14,000 gallons and a price increase. Oh, what the heck? Went out, looked at the meter on the meter box, and nothing was running the house. I'm like, we got a leak under the slab. Called the plumbing company. Plumbing company came in. Oh, yeah, we're going to have to jackhammer the slab. Oh, no, we're not doing that. I want to know if we can come in under the porch and go up, and yeah, we can do that. They didn't want to do the job. They wasted my time for 5 days. I was waiting a quote. I said, hey, can I find out if anybody's going to do this? We're not going to do it because it's illegal. Can't have exposed plumbing. I said, it's not going to be exposed, but whatever. Okay, that's fine. I read up on PVC, CPVC, and I learned how to do it. I laid out the line, brought it to all the faucets in the house, stuffed a piece of paper in it in the open end. I called my plumber. Said, I need you to hook up all my connections. I had to redo my line. I'll dig the trench from the house to the meter box. You can hook up all the pipe and I'll pay you. He spent 8 hours in here. I dug the hole, got it finished as he was pulling up. He laid the pipe, hooked up the meter, hooked it up inside the house, and he started making all the connections. Charged me $300 for 8 hours of work. He works with copper plumbing. He's sought out by everybody. He does everything by the book. And he always calls me boy. He says, boy, I tell you what, just like Foghorn Leghorn, you saved yourself thousands of dollars and you increased the value of your home because now you don't have a water line that's debatable under your slab anymore. I said, well, my next one is to get the hot water lines out of the attic. He said, well, you can leave them up there. I said, I can, but I don't like it. Move around in the attic. Some idiot's going to go up there to work on the AC unit and the hookups and step on that, break it. You got water all over the place. So a couple of weeks ago, I started from the hot water, drilled holes through the studs between that and the bathroom, and ran a half-inch pipe down to the around the three-quarter, and then did a converter down to a three-quarter to three-quarter to half-inch. Ran the half-inch to the bathroom sink. Ran a port to the actually the one's already hooked up to the tub from the water heater, and I ran a pipe to the edge of the hot water that starts to go up in the attic. And when we get everything hooked up, we cut it and we connect it to the new line and abandon everything in the attic. Everything will be in the house. We have had some unseasonably hot weather. We got rain yesterday, which finally busted this heat wave. It's been awful. And when I turn on the water, when I get home, cold or hot, in certain rooms of the house, that water is scalding from attic temps. Atheists think they're airtight and everything. And I've had to learn how to do things on this house, remodeling. I can't afford big boys. I feel like calling the plumbing company and say, I just want you to know I did all this. And not only is it legal, it's all behind walls now. Thank you for saving me thousands of dollars for refusing to do this. My plumber said, oh, they're expensive anyway. I know that plumbing company, and they don't want to do old places like this. They want to do a job where it's a brand new building because it's easy for them. My plumber, been in the business 40 years. He said, I'm impressed. You never did this before, and you did it yourself. My water pressure's increased. I've been tackling so many demons with this house. The one thing I'm working on, they got this, I call it Stay Puffed tubing. It's wrapped in insulation. It's very difficult to get around with the old rectangle vent metal things all rusted. There's a lot of humidity down here. When the AC first kicks on, you feel that momentary blast of hot air that's all trapped in the attic because of the pipe heating up. I said, boy, that's inefficient. And then my mind thinks, what if I ran, say, 4-inch or 6-inch PVC inside under the ceiling with a vent to each room? Would that be more advantageous? If I could redesign the air conditioner and not cost so much electrically, because it's a compressor compressing the gas, which runs your bill up. It's not the blower. You can run that blower all day. It's pennies on the dollar. But my blower doesn't have enough push. I have a 4-ton because my house, the square footage requires it. I'm thinking about that blower sucks. Cannot even get to the back room. You go up there and you can feel a piece of cigarette paper go like this, maybe. Air conditioning systems to me are completely inefficient. They don't put metal up there because in the South it would sweat and condensate and mildew bad. My point in saying all that was not to brag about what Pacific can do. My point was to say that when you sit down to try to figure out something, because I had to figure out how the plumbing was wired in this house. And when I try to open a wall, I'm like, why does that pipe go up there? What is that for? Atheists, evolutionists are unable to do what I and some of you can do. We have what's called deductive reasoning. I can look at a project and strain my brain and say, okay, I can go through these 2 studs. How am I going to turn to get into here? Wait a minute. If I go down a couple feet, I can bypass that. Based on what I'm doing, I should not get Alzheimer's because I'm straining my brain. There's times when my roommate looks at me, she goes, you all right? I said, yeah, I have to think. And she's watched me. She goes, you are very smart. So there's people smarter than me. She goes, no, but you figured this out and you did it. PVC is fun to work with. CPVC for hot. Use the pipe cleaner. Do the fittings, the sleeves, the tees, elbows, caps. Do the pipe. Put the glue on both and twist it. And what I do is I like it when the glue squeezes out around the edge. You know, you got a good seal. I love the stuff. It's like playing with adult Tinker Toys. The hardest part is threading it around and through things. Yesterday, I went from her bedroom, took the panels off where the cold water line comes in, ran the hot water return from there, because instead of coming down from the attic and behind the kitchen sink, it'll come through the wall. And I added 2x2s to the studs because there were sewer pipe, gas lines, and electrical lines all in the way. By adding the 2 inches, I can make a track to run the 3/4 and the 1/2 inch PVC, where it's behind the wall. Just have to make a mental note that when I put the wall material up, I need to draw a map and say, don't nail here, don't nail or screw here. Because if you miss and hit the pipe, you got a problem. Atheists don't think for themselves. They've been indoctrinated and they don't question it. I have questioned it. I've questioned evolution. I've questioned Christianity. I've questioned Mormonism, Jehovah's Witness, Democrats. You got a lot of people in this country. Somebody opens their head and spoon feeds the mush in there and they just buy it. I'm done with those days. Darwinianism is the spark that's given rise to despots and tyrannical leaderships that strip people of their rights, strip them of their guns, strip them of their freedom of speech. Atheism is way more dangerous to a world than Christianity. And they hide behind their phrases, oh, religion's the opium of the people. You're right, so is the atheist religion. It's not a religion, it's based on reality. No, it isn't, it's faith-based. You still can't answer the question. Why are the arms? Why does everything make sense? How come there's not an eye on my butt? They can't answer, they won't, because they say that randomness had intelligence to it. That's ridiculous and ludicrous. That's man. That's the faultiness of man right there. If you want a good wife and you're willing to do it, I would submit to you, African women in Africa are different than African American women here. A lot of them are still sweet. They're cultured. They know 3 languages. They're beautiful. They have good hygiene. They're clean. They smell good. And if you can find African American women here that aren't intoxicated by the rot of Democrat thinking and Cardi B and ghetto culture, you could find yourself a damn good woman. I'm done with Caucasian women. I'm nice to them. Some Caucasian women are beautiful, but they're like that song that you hear, and a week later, it's old. Black women have some things I desire about them. They have some personality traits that are much more agreeable to a relationship than Caucasian women have. Caucasian women are caught up in too much SUVs, dogs. Most Black women I meet do not support that pet obsession. There's a lot of Black women I meet, they're about being practical. Yes, there's some that are no money, no honey. Yeah, there's some that are all about $300 hairdos and nails and all that crap. But I've been around people cultures long enough, and I still feel more comfortable around Black female culture than I do white female culture. My roommate and I will go to a Baptist church this morning, and there's a white woman with tattoo stars all down her neck, dating a Black guy. She cannot say hi to us. Got that stuck up thing, and she's dating a Black guy, so she probably figures, nah, I'm too good to date white men. I wouldn't date you anyway, honey, even if you were on the auction block. You come into church with an attitude. Doesn't seem like the preacher or any of the biblical truth is getting through to you. Not sure what you're doing in here. White female culture is dead. White female culture has ran the course. Good white women are taken, but most white women are like a computer program. Most people are like a computer program. They act and react a certain way. I do too. There's friends I talk to that every time I call them, the same damn thing's going to come up, and inside I'm going, not this again. But I've been guilty of it in my own way. But white women, they're like the old DOS system. You can't do anything with the DOS system. They're not Windows. There's not all these options. They're bought and owned by corporate America. They're bought and owned by feminists and Hollywood and college culture. There's no passion in the bedroom. There's no passion being with them. Anybody that wear capris, anybody who wear crap from Target or Ross or Christopher Banks, well, not a breath of fresh air to me. That's just my opinion. And there's a lot of black culture I don't like either, especially in this country. But there's black women that have looked at me and smiled. They'll come up to me in the nightclub and give me a big old kiss on the cheek and hug me. You will never see a white woman do that. Ever. There are some black women that are way more passionate in the bedroom, more passionate in holding hands and kissing and being sweet than Caucasians. And a lot of black women know how to cook like nobody's business. White women are too good for that. Not all. I got a roommate who can cook outstanding. She's a white woman. She's a rare breed. She's my friend. No hanky panky. I prefer dark skin. I always have. We all have our preferences, and there's nothing wrong with that. But evolutionists, to you, the Christian, don't be intimidated by their blowhardness. When people are wrong, arrogance reigns supreme. And they don't like me. They accuse me of gaslighting them. I said, call it whatever you want. You guys try to gaslight us all day long. And it'd be nice if some Christians would just come in full force and say, okay, whatever, boys. You still haven't proven a damn thing. God delusion doesn't prove a damn thing. It's the rantings of a fool headed for hell. What a way to live, denying God and thinking that you're airtight. You have no hope. You believe there's no afterlife. You're going to wish there was no afterlife, believe in the foolishness that you believe. But no, we all live for eternity. Some in heaven, most in hell. I base that off the Bible. Broad is the road that leads to destruction. Many there be that travel on it, and narrow is the road to eternal life. Few there be that find it. You're either a Christian or you're not. And if you're not a Christian, of course, you're going to mock. You're going to hide behind your college and think, yep, another dum-dum in the church. Ooh. Yep, but your religion is faith-based too, buddy, except the faith you have, mine makes more sense than yours. Yours is foolishness. You believe that the human body just came into being just on accident, just like it is. Everything put in its proper place. That's crazy. I believe a loving Heavenly Father designed us. Our body's too complex to just show up at the scene. The creation itself gives testimony to the existence of a creator. Romans states that. And to deny that and to reject that, you're without excuse. There is no savior for the atheist. There is none. Because they deny the only one available, God himself. The height of arrogance. And to my Christian friends out there that struggle with being bold, blowhards are arrogant. They'll talk tough. They'll gnash their teeth. That's Satan. We don't fight the way they fight. We fight with truth. And they're mocking it every step. They can't look at the condition of our world today and see that things are escalating and getting worse. If evolution was true, we should be getting better towards a utopic way. We're not. We still have people in this world that want to do power grabs, land grabs. We got people in politics that are making tons of money. They're old. They got one foot on a banana peel and one foot in the grave. The Bidens are set for life. They still want to exert control over the people. If Pacific made $1 million, if I was in politics and I did good for 4 years and I got all the money that they get, I would go away to an island. I don't want to control people. I don't want to mess with people's lives and take away their freedoms. atheist leadership is destructive, it is oppressive, and it is demonic. It is void of God, it is void of compassion. And I see it in their nasty, hateful, vengeful comments. Ignorant men and women towing the communist and socialist and atheistic party line. Oh, he doesn't believe in evolution. He obviously didn't go to college. You can't even drive your fucking car, people. You can't even exercise basic courtesy, except to your little clown friends. Atheism is not good for the world. It's garbage. And I've been attacked and hounded on this channel more by white males that don't believe in absolutes, but they absolutely believe evolution is an absolute. Now, how contradictory can you get? Can God make a rock bigger than he can move? If you answer yes or no, I got you. Is the atheist a contradiction unto itself? Yep. We don't believe in absolutes. Oh, but you believe evolution is absolute. Gotcha. You see, when you become a Christian, your reasoning changes. You don't have to argue the Bible against them. You just got to have a common sense thinking and allow God to kick in. They don't believe the truth. They can scream and yell, we got science. Science. No, you don't. You got a religious, faith-based belief system stuffed in the Department of Science that needs to be thrown out of it. Early science consisted of Christian men who feared God, Isaac Newton, and many others. Only fools deny the existence of God. The leading DNA scientist is a Christian. And he came out and realized that the DNA takes us back to the same mother and father. Duh. The Bible says we all came from Adam and Eve. DNA has proved it. That was on major world news, by the way. But science, they deny that the atheists deny the second law of thermodynamics, entropy, the breaking down, the slowing down. So evolution is a complete contradiction to a scientific principle called the law of thermodynamics. Arguing with atheists is like watching the toilet bowl after you filled it with poo and toilet paper and you watch it go round and around. You cannot win with those clowns. It's a shit show, and that's what it is. They don't come back with any proof. They'll send you links. They'll send you some quote. They'll send you something. You cannot prove the date by the assumed half-life of radiation in a given substance. How do you know it's the half-life? It's all assumptions, not based on scientific fact. Evolution is a theory. The dating process is a scam. It's interesting that when people get a DUI, they were drunk, inebriated, and people want to find fault with the breathalyzer test or the radar thing. Radar has been inaccurate. Breathalyzer, not so. But radiocarbon-14, they dated a living clam at 7,000 years old. Oops, got a problem there. It's not a dating method. It's not even a machine. It's a bunch of theories and speculations of a half-life. And how do you date the Earth? Looking at a rock. Oh, yeah, this is about 20 million years old. Silly stuff, folks. You think that mankind could have been around for millions of years? Really? Without destroying everything? Just in my lifetime from 1966 to now, I've watched things just go bad. If there is no God, you and I and all of this ceases to exist. It's interesting that a created being can rise up to deny the creator, hiding behind so-called truth based in science. That's a lie. Evolution is not fact. And we don't need to prove it. We don't need to come back with that, because that's what they do. You come back with something, they're just like, oh, wrong again, Ronald, got him on, reel you in. That's all they do. They don't come back with fact. They argue from presupposition. Well, the dating process is false. Ha ha ha, and you're not a scientist. Okay, ha ha ha. A dating process. You know, I went to the store and I bought a stud finder when I first started on this house. It did not work. It was beeping all the way down the wall. So I just took my hammer and went, poof, and where it showed there was a stud, there wasn't a damn thing. I went to the store and said, this is defective. Can I have a refund? Radiocarbon 14 is defective. It is not accurate. But they still swear by it. Mankind and civilization, every atom, proton, neutron, electron would dissolve if there was no God. Be like your TV when the screen goes, that thin light white line, gone. The natural man comprehendeth not the things of God. People of the secular world, they educate their minds into secularism. And the devil keeps them in the darkness because that's exactly where he wants them. They're the biggest antagonizers, mockers. They make fun. They have no hope. They have no passion in life. They believe a fatalistic worldview and laugh at anybody that doesn't share it with them. True Christianity believes in heaven and a hell and God having a relationship with his saints. They laugh at that and say it's a crutch. How is that a crutch? My belief in God dictates how I treat other people. I don't go around calling people tards. Now, I don't agree with the Democrats, and I've said some pretty harsh things, but that's because they're being destructive to us. My views are not destructive to atheist quality of life. Their views are destructive to my quality of life because they're teaching kids that they came from primordial slime and there's no absolutes, and these kids are shooting people and killing each other and showing complete disrespect, at least where I live. You cannot argue with an atheist. They go round and round like a toilet bowl. They don't stand on fact. They don't want to believe in God, so therefore whatever they believe is the truth. It is a cult, just like the Democrats, just like feminist women, just like the Mormon Church, just like Jehovah's Witness, just like Catholicism, just like Masonry, just like all the cults out there. You can't get through to them with truth. It's going to take a God moment, a Damascus Road experience, if you will. But Christian, don't be intimidated by them. People that are wrong usually are blowhards, cuss, name call, threaten. Because if what they believed was really true, they wouldn't respond that way. They'd seek to lovingly show you the error of your belief. They don't. They insult and attack because they're wolves, putting forth another gospel. And there is no good news that people evolve from some slime. It is ridiculous. It is unscientific and it is unbiblical. This is Pacific signing off.